Merry Christmas Eve. Welcome back. If you're new, we're glad you joined us. We're Two Tall Stitchers. I'm Carol, and this is my daughter Jennifer, and we're here on a very frosty, windy day in Indiana to visit with you guys for a little while.
Yeah, it's warmer than yesterday, though.
Yes.
I didn't leave the house yesterday.
Our high yesterday, I think, was -4. So
Two. I think it got up to 2.
2. Well, anyway.
At your house is probably -4 because you have winds.
Much more open.
Yeah.
We don't have any trees, so we get a lot of blowing.
Yeah.
And we have a little issue with one of our back doors, so we also had a little pile of snow inside the house. So I tried to pick that up last night, but it was cold. I love it, but not necessarily inside on my carpet.
Yes, true. True. Oh, gosh.
Moving right along.
All right. Where shall we start?
Where should we start?
Let's start with a thanks.
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you to the 2 eclectic stitchers. They mentioned us in one of their recent videos when they were recapping, ironically, when they were recapping the Houston Quilt Show, which we've been to.
Yes.
You've been to many times.
I've been many
to
times.
Once or maybe twice. And so thank you very much for mentioning us. We appreciate it, and glad to hear you had a good time at the show. And at Buc-ee's after the show, the giant gas station, grocery store.
We have not been, Buc-ee's was not in Texas when I left almost 20 years ago. And
I went to one when I went down to Austin.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's an experience.
Yes, that's what they say. But they say they got 1,000 bathrooms
They
and they're
do.
all clean.
They do,
So,
yeah. That's one thing they have.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is evidently tagged Buc-ee's, Buc-ee's, Buc-ee's.
Yes.
So you can certainly get some memorable souvenirs.
Yes, yes. Alrighty, shall we jump into the quilt of the day?
Yes.
So this is my quilt. I was telling Mom when I was running around the house gathering up my stuff this morning, I was like, surely I've shown them all my Christmas quilts. And then I realized we've only been through one Christmas. So you've only seen one of my Christmas quilts. So this one is called Disappearing 4-Patch. I made this one many years ago. It actually has a label on it, but it doesn't have the year on the label, I don't think.
Really?
It was a quilt show label. So it hung in a quilt show. And this one is a pattern you can find very easily on Google, online. There's plenty of places where you can purchase a pattern to make a Disappearing 4-Patch. There are a few places where you can find YouTube videos or tutorials on how to make it. And I thought this was really fun. It takes 2 charm packs. So that's what my colors were 2 charm packs, and then maybe a yard or 2 yards of background fabric, and then a couple of borders. And this one was fun to make. And then I decided for the binding, I wanted to do a piped binding. So you can maybe see this little pop of red, and then the regular binding, but I didn't do it piping. Instead, I did the part where you sew 2 fabrics together, and then you have to iron them perfectly, and then you have to sew exactly on the line, so it's like fake piping, and that took me an entire day to do. And usually I can do a quilt binding in about an hour.
Yeah.
So that's the last time I've done that, but I really like the look on this quilt. I like
really
that
nice.
pop of red. So,
it's really
and this
pretty.
one is, I quilted on my long arm with a pantograph, and it's a holly berry Christmassy pantograph. It's one of my favorite Christmas ones. So that's the quilt of the day. I literally tore it off the couch to bring it here, and it probably has dog hair on it. So,
but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
We like dogs.
Yes. All right. What's been going on for you the last couple weeks?
Well, I finished that big quilt. We'll insert a picture of that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm working on still wrapping presents, which I swore I wouldn't do, but I'm still working. Every year I say this.
Do not let me.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still early in the day. It's not dark yet.
Yeah.
But, and then the other neat thing is my husband came downstairs this morning and said, do you know, we have 2 bathrooms, a small one and a kind of a bigger one upstairs. And he said, there's no water in either bathroom. Yeah. And they face, the big bathroom faces west. Now the pipes are on the inside, but evidently the water pipe that comes up the outside of the house is on the west side. Yeah. So we have a heater going in that bathroom in the hopes that something will help.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll just start to melt by itself.
Melt and not expand at all.
When it gets up to 59 later this week.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is insane. This is insane. The weather is nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, we're just going to pretend that that's not there right now.
Sounds good.
Of course, we have 7 people coming on Monday.
Yeah. Let's
And
hope that
they're spending the night.
the pipes
So
don't burst.
either that or the bathrooms that go downstairs are going to be really busy.
Yeah.
And nobody's taking a shower.
Yeah. On my side, I think I told you last time it would be a very busy run up to the end of the year, and it was. I finished work on Monday of this week, and I'm off this week and next week, which is a fantastic benefit. Some of it is use it or lose it vacation, and some of it is some company shutdown days over the holidays, which is a really nice, really amazing benefit to have. And then the kids finished up school, they got through finals, and both did really well. They pulled out some upgrades in their grades at the last minute, so very happy with both sets of grades. And now they're lounging on the couch. My son had the flu last week, but he's better now. I knew he didn't feel good when he didn't eat for 2 days. That's how you know. When a 15-year-old boy says he doesn't even want chicken noodle soup, that's when you know. But he's better now, and my daughter and I made some cookies this morning, and I'm sure he will be all over those.
And I made chocolate meringues. I made one batch and they went very quickly, so I made another batch, but he didn't get any yet. So yesterday he took his socks off and he said, "I'm going to Grand's." Well, we're about 4 miles apart, and he was
in shorts at the time.
And he's like, "I'm going to Grand's." And I said, "Is he dressed?" She said, "Yeah, he's got shorts on. He took his shoes off and he's going in his socks." No, he took his socks off. Now he's going barefoot. Yeah. He made it out to the mailbox, which is not very far.
No.
And came back in and said, "My feet are cold."
Yeah. Yeah, so, that was it. That was after the temperature had dropped when it was super cold.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't come with me to get some cookies.
Yeah, he's dying to get them.
So anyway, so we're ready for the holiday. I have a little bit of wrapping left to do. You have a little bit of wrapping left to do, and
a tree to decorate.
And I think we're in good shape though, and ready for spending the day together tomorrow.
Yes. Because it's supposed to be warmer. Maybe it'll be 4.
I think it's going to be like 13 tomorrow.
Oh my word. Heat wave.
Yeah.
Heat wave.
Yeah, crazy. All right, well, let's go into some questions from our last episode. First of all, we had a couple of corrections to the favorite designers questions that we asked you last time.
Yeah, I'm sorry I misspoke too.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. So I did not realize, I think I knew this, but I just didn't catch it, that Paulette Stewart is Plum Street. And so Plum Street and Blackbird were tied for number 2, but when you add the Paulette Stewarts, it pushes her over the top. So officially, With Thy Needle and Thread was number 1, and Plum Street / Paulette Stewart was number 2 of our favorite designers. The second thing is that Rosewood Manor is Karen Kluba, not Stacy Nash.
And I knew that. I don't. My brain was not connected to my mouth.
So, and then the third one is that Quiltify. I wrote the name down and it came. Oh yeah, I wrote it down as something else. It's Benjamin Drew is the designer for Quiltify. So those are our corrections to last time. And then we also have to correct, because as we said that With Thy Needle and Thread was the number 1 and we didn't have any of their patterns.
Wrong.
Guess what? She has this and I have the Halloween one, and I was going to bring it and I forgot. And I've stitched out of the Halloween one. And I tell you what, we need to stitch these guys. They're so stinking cute. Yeah. So anyway, we do have With Thy Needle and Thread.
Yes.
Yep. And want to stitch it soon.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I saw somewhere recently that Winter Wonderland done on a big piece of fabric. It was really pretty.
That'd be pretty.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty.
Yeah. So, all right. And then we'll go into the question we asked you in our last episode, which is what size projects do you like to stitch on? And we got a lot of good response. It actually, the numbers go perfectly by size, which is unusual.
Really? Oh,
so
wow.
We'll start with any size. No preference on size was 3 people. Large projects was 5 people. Medium to large projects was 7. Medium was 14. Small to medium, I lied, was 11.
Okay.
Okay, not in order, but small to medium was 11, and then smalls was 19. So most people on the smalls enjoy the quick finishes, the ability to get through a lot. They're good for decorating. Yeah. A lot of people commented about wanting some variety. So like they couldn't stitch all of the same size all at the same time. And a lot of people had one bigger project. And then they would alternate out smaller ones when they got tired of working on the bigger project.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Yeah. And where are you? I think we talked about this a little bit last time, but where are you? What's your favorite size to stitch?
Kind of medium.
Yeah.
It depends. If I've been working on something that's a little bit bigger and it's driving me nuts, then I want to do something small that I can have, a quick finish and instant gratification.
Yeah.
But
it is nice to have
it is,
those
it
small
is
ones.
nice. But then of course somebody needs to finish it too, and that doesn't always happen. That's one of our discussions we've had about what we're going to do next year. We're going to get our act together. I was going to say another word, but I won't. Yeah. We're going to get our act together and start finishing.
It's okay, you'll probably say it at some point in this episode.
We will start finishing some of these things, because when they're finished, they look really cute, and we're like, oh my gosh, they're so neat. And then it's like, why did I wait 3 years to do this?
Because it's so much easier to sit and stitch than it is to FFO.
And there are some people who just stitch and stitch and stitch, and they have a drawer or a box, and they just put everything in there. I had a friend who did that, and whenever she finished, she just put it in the box. And one day I had Jenna with me, and this was several years ago. Jenna was working, and she said, Jenna, would you like to pick out something from here? And Jenna said, no, thanks, not really. I was like, Jenna, because she did some beautiful stuff. Jenna was like, no, I don't think I want anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to take you out back and beat you up. Yes, you should. No, but she didn't take anything, so.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh. All right.
Didn't appreciate it.
So thanks. And then we had 2 people who commented on their favorite size quilt to make. Oh, I didn't answer for me. I would say I probably like small to medium. That's probably where I enjoy also the quick finish on the smalls, but I like something that's a little more involved. I do like to have probably one large piece going at all times.
Yeah.
Although I tend to get annoyed with them, but I do like having them going, and it's really rewarding when you finish a large piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. When we did flea market flowers, that was not super huge. It was not full coverage or anything, but that was a pretty big piece.
That was a large for us.
Yeah, for us it was large.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to put those last few stitches in.
Yeah. True.
And then it's neat to do something quick like the laundry things from Hands On Design, and then people point out where you forgot stitches because it's so small you weren't paying attention. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. I did fix it, as you know.
All right. A couple of other questions. Carol V asked, that's not you.
No, that's not me.
Which is funny
I know.
because her last initial is V. Asked what kind of long arm I have, and I have a Handy Quilter Avante, which is the 18-inch long arm. It is my second long arm. I got the first one used from somebody who was selling it, and I used that for, I think, 3 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it actually needed some repairs, and when I talked to the guy who was going to repair it, I asked about a trade-in, and it was kind of one of those, I couldn't say no. It was such a good deal. He actually gave me what I paid for my first one, and it needed repairs. So I went ahead and upgraded back then to an Avante, and I love it. It does not have a computer on it. It's all hand-guided, so all of my quilting is either freehand or I do pantograph with the laser from the back. So maybe someday I'll get you to come down when I'm quilting and just film a little bit that we could put
I could
in.
do that.
Yeah, because I know people have asked to see it before.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And she got her first one when Jack was crawling, because it was really funny. The lady she bought it from lived in Bloomington, and we went down and talked to her, and we looked at the thing and everything, and Jennifer said, okay, let me go home and measure. So she took all the measurements of how much space she'd need, and she went down in the basement, and Jack was down there with her. I was down there, Mike was down there, and she was laying out, and we'd mark it, and then we'd put tape down, and she had it all taped up, and Jack was going right behind her pulling up all the tape.
Yeah.
So we did it like 3 times, and finally somebody said, pick him up.
Yeah.
Because he was having so much fun. We couldn't get it figured out where it should be because he kept pulling up the tape.
Yeah.
So that was really cute.
That was cute.
And so he's 15 now, so she's had it for probably 14 years.
I think 12, because
He was crawling.
Yeah.
He was crawling.
But I got it after we went to Oregon. And we went to Oregon when he was 15 months old. So he's probably 2.5. I got it a year later, I think. Anyway. We'll figure out when I got it, and I'll share that at some other time. Okay. Susan K said she's allergic to wool and asked if I thought she could use felt in the autumn embroidery. Absolutely. I think that would be fine, and I think it would be a very pretty look as well. I think, you wouldn't even notice. People looking at it wouldn't even notice the difference between using wool and felt because there's so few pieces and it's very small. Then Melinda asked, could you do a strawberry on Ada, and what count would you use? Yeah,
I'd use a minimum of 18.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's huge. I mean, I can't remember what I did mine on, but
14 count.
It got a little,
the equivalent
28
of 14
count maybe, and I did
Yeah.
over 2.
Yeah.
And I should have done it over 1 because it turned out to be a honking big guy.
Yeah.
And you did yours on maybe a 14.
I did mine on a 30 count.
Yeah.
So, but it was still a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the only thing I would watch out for, Melinda, is check the pattern to see if there's any over 1 stitching on some of the Erica Michaels patterns. This might be one right here. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to touch that. On some of the Erica Michaels patterns, there's places where you have to stitch over 1. And when you use Ada, that's hard to do. It's possible, but hard.
You have to split your threads.
Or you could just do backstitch. So just pay attention to that to plan for it. But I think absolutely you could stitch on Ada. Yeah. And then Annette commented on your Santa shirt and said she would love to see all of it.
Yeah, you guys only saw the top of it, so I brought it upstairs. I don't have it on, so I don't have to stand up. But this is my Santa shirt. And he's got buttons on him and a bell and everything. And I took a class in Houston. I bet I made him 30 years ago.
Oh, I bet you did.
And he's not real worn because I only wear him a certain time of the year. But
who painted his face?
The gal that taught the class did the beard and the face. And then we put all the rest of this together. And it came, we cut out all the pieces. And
so it's all like an applique pattern.
Yeah. It's all, this is all applique on, and then this is sewn around with charm squares.
Yeah. Super cute.
Yeah. So I love to wear that.
Yes.
I love to wear that.
Yes. Good. All right. Well, shall we go on to a little bit of stitching?
Sure.
Okay. Whips and new starts. I have a new start. You want me to start with that?
Yeah, I do too. What I do with it, yeah.
Okay. You showed that last time.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My start is Cardinal with Candy Cane by Hand Blessings. And this is a designer I had not seen before. I picked this up down at Fancy Works and somewhere, copyright 2012. So this is an older pattern, but I thought it was so darn cute. And I am stitching mine on 28 count slate.
Ooh,
Picture This Plus, and I love it. So there's his body and his legs and his scarf and part of the candy cane. And that's as far as I got when I finished last night. So this is going to be a cute one. And it calls for the balls of pearl cotton, 12 weight pearl cotton to make the snowflakes in this. So this should be a pretty quick finish. I mean, last night I stitched all of this side of him, basically. Yeah, all of that side. So he might even be a finish by the end of the year.
Wow.
And I know he's a he because he's a red cardinal, not a brown one. Yeah.
And Terry from Cornhusker Stitchers, she's actually going to stitch all those snowmen. I know for you, you'd be putting buttons on, but I think she's going to stitch them.
Yeah, I'll stitch them. Yeah.
I'm with you when it comes to the snowflakes. I would like to do buttons.
Snowflakes. Yeah. And then my other whip, I continued to work on my winter bell pull. I've kind of unofficially made this my snow day stitch, and every day that I've seen snow, even if it's just a few flakes, I've worked on this for the last couple of weeks. And I think last time I saw you, I had gotten to the mug and the mittens, and they are now done, and I've gotten all the way to the bottom. I made myself do the border first, part of the border first before I did the big moose, because I knew once I stitched that I wouldn't want to stitch the border. So I've had a couple of nights that literally all I do is stitch border. So this is coming along very well. This is going to be a little flower here, and then there's the moose here, and then just finish out the border.
Wow,
and
that's great.
That will be a finish. So I looked back. This was my New Year's Day start for 2022.
Ooh.
So my goal is to finish it by the end of 2022. And I should be able to.
Yeah, there's not
we
much.
have maybe a couple more snow days coming, and even if we don't, I'll get this one going. It might become a precipitation day piece if we don't have snow.
Yeah. They
And
were
I'll
supposed
just
to
go
have
with
snow
rain.
on Monday.
When it gets up to 40 degrees again, we
Yeah.
won't have snow.
On Monday, that we're supposed to have snow. On
Yeah.
Friday, it's supposed
Yeah.
to be 54 or 56 or some ridiculous number.
All right.
and
Your
then-
whip?
My whip is, I was working, I could take this out of the bag, I guess, and show you. This is the Spooky Row by Bent Creek, and I think I probably had started it last time, I don't know. I'm doing it on
I think you
30
had just been to the stitch day
Yeah.
and you had just
Just
started
started it, okay.
Yeah.
So it's on 32 count dirty linen by Zweigart, and this is as far as I've gotten. And I have not really stitched much because I've been busy with the quilt and another project that you'll see in a few minutes. So now I would like to get back to this. And it's another one that I love letters, you know that. And
Yeah.
so I could finish this up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And somebody commented that when I worked on my Scatter Freedom, how neat it was that I was, stitching ahead for a season. Well, that wasn't really the case. I was stitching because I picked it up and it had the fabric in the project bag, and it only used a few colors, and I had them all, and they were in the project bag, so it was like, okay, we'll start you.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily plan my stitching. I just kind of,
Wing
fly
it.
by night, whatever
Yeah.
whatever hits my mood or
Yeah.
whatever's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I have 2 stitching finishes as well.
Pretty.
So the first one, I'm stitching this as a shop model for Persnickety Stitchers, and it is Cherry Hill Stitchery, Bumblebees and Flowers Please. I forgot to take it out of the plastic, but I think it's okay there. This I am stitching with the called for colors and using the DMC Floche for the greens and the black. And here it is. And I think it's lovely. This is on 32 count mushroom Lugana. That's what it is. 32 count mushroom Lugana. And I really enjoyed stitching with the Floche. Again, I probably wouldn't buy a whole color set of that, but I would pick up like a black and maybe a white and some of the other ones.
And the color numbers is the same as regular DMC.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
easy to interchange.
Yep. And then I think it was Maureen. Yeah, Maureen mentioned that Works by ABC had just done a couple of episodes on Floche, and I went and watched hers, and they were nice to see. She uses Floche as well. She does a lot of single color pieces.
Oh, interesting.
And she uses Floche, so that was nice. Maureen also mentioned, I don't know if you saw this comment about the Colorado Cross Stitcher has the snowman
yes,
collector.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And then I have another finish. The other night I finished By Golly Be Jolly. This was such a fun stitch. I don't know why I've let it sit in my stash for at least 6 years. But I am glad that I finally stitched it. Let me get the hair off of it.
Did you have it started at all, or you just started it?
Oh no, I just started it
Oh.
before this season. And there it is. And this linen was in the kit. I think it's a 28 count sand or straw. It's not very dark. It's pretty light.
Yeah.
But yeah, finished that one up. I have no idea how I'm going to FFO this. I think I'd like to put it on some type of board or something,
Yeah.
but we'll
It's
see.
really pretty.
It's, I really like the rows of snowflakes.
Yeah.
I was kind of dreading them, but they actually went pretty fast.
Yep, and they turned out well.
Yeah. So those are
That was
my
good.
finishes. And then on to FFOs. It's the me show today.
Yes,
isn't
it is. Yes, it is.
You'll talk about your quilt. I have 4 FFOs. I posted a picture on Instagram a while ago of all my Christmas pieces that needed to be FFO'd and that I needed to get my stuff together. And so I got a couple of them done. This is the first one that I made into a Christmas tag, and this is called Christmas Alphabet, and it was a free pattern in a Facebook group that Mom and I were in years ago. The group, I think, has since disbanded, but I loved this one. I thought those little, just the little motifs were super cute, and stitched it. I have no idea what this is stitched on. It looks like 28 count something. And so I just made a little tag ornament. I used my crocodile tool to make the the closure. Oh, and I found a good video for how to actually use your crocodile tool because it comes with horrible instructions. So I will link that video. Will you make a note? It puts in the little eyelet. So see the little eyelet there to make it a tag. It's a little tool that pokes the hole and then pushes the eyelet through.
Oh, okay.
And I just put felt on the back of this one. You can see where the fabric bled through, but you won't see that when it's hanging on the tree. So that's ornament number 1. And then ornament number 2 is from Lizzie Kate, one of the Tiny Tidings. And sorry, I forgot to look up which one. This is, I think it said something like have a cup of cheer, or
I have that one done too. Yeah.
Something like that on this little wooden ornament. This was from Target at the end of the year last year when everything was 75% off.
Wow.
I found it, and when I pulled out my Noel, I had originally planned to do a hoop finish, but I had this out and I had the Noel out, and I was like, wait a second, I think that'll work.
Fits perfectly.
Yeah, so I stitched this on a pink linen. I know I bought it originally to make a baby announcement, which I did make, and it was gifted many years ago. I think that baby's in college now. But I had some left over, so I changed the colors up on this from what it called for in the pattern. So that's number 2. And this one I just put on mat board with batting. Same with the other one, I put it on mat board with batting, and then I just glued it in. This was kind of recessed just a little bit, so I glued it in there.
That's really cute.
And then I made a couple of pillows. So the first one I'll show is Wee Santa, which I actually stitched earlier this year. This is the 2021 Wee Santa. And I finished this up yesterday. And so there is my Wee Santa. And he is on a piece of, I think, dirty sand linen. I can't remember the count. It was in one of the packets that I picked up of bunches of linen at a stitcher sale. And I used some of my trim from Our Lady Dot bags. This, like, I was looking through the bag for a chenille to put around the edge, and I didn't have any colors that matched, and this ribbon fell out, and I was like, wait a second, that works perfectly.
Yeah.
And then I put the 2022 charm on it. And I want to thank Holly because she sent me some of those because we had a pack of 100 that we can't
disappeared.
find. So now we have some from Holly. So they came
Holly.
just in time, and I really love this guy. Very happy with that, that finish. And then number 4 is another pillow, and this pattern is, gosh, I got this a long time ago. I'm gonna pull it out of the bag. You may have, because some of these I bought and some you gave me. Yeah. So this is an old Victoria sampler piece, and there was a whole series about learning hardanger, and this is level 5 that taught you how to cut the fabric and do the woven bars. And the pattern is actually called Hollyberries. And a couple of years ago, I had a year I called Year of the Kits, and I tried to stitch all the stuff that I had and quilt stuff that I had bought in kits. And so this was one of them. And I made this one into a little bitty pillow as well. And I found that ribbon in my stash. That was stash ribbon, not. So this one, it will be hard to see here, but there's actually like a shimmery fabric that's also on the back that is behind the stitching. So I made it into a pillow with that shimmery really fabric behind it.
Oh gosh, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Good finish.
So very happy. And this one, it was interesting. I started to stuff it, and I stuffed the pillow too much, and it didn't look good. And so I had to pull out a bunch of stuffing so it would be much more of a flat pillow instead of a big fat one. Because it lost the stitching. And I made a mistake when I cut this. I took my pink pencil, and I marked a 1/4 inch outside of all the stitching because that's where I was going to sew. And
that's
then guess what I did? Yep. The first one I cut a 1/4 inch outside the pink line, and the second one I cut right on the pink line. So it's a little bit tight, but I think it's okay.
Works.
I think it turns out pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 4 finishes. So 4 three new ornaments for the tree and one pillow for one of the Christmas bowls.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah. All right. We have a little bit of Happy Mail. You want to talk about that?
Yes,
Since I've been talking.
We both got nice cards from Joan.
Joe.
Okay. I thought it was Joe. All right. I brought it upstairs,
Joe
but
or
I didn't bring it
Joan?
here. I think it's Joe. But
Thank
anyway.
you for your card.
Thank you. You know who you are. You're from North Carolina. So thank you. We really liked it. It was a very nice card. We really appreciate it. And also, Sue sent us a very nice gift, and we really appreciate that. We're looking forward to enjoying that a lot.
Yes.
So thank you very much, and it's really great.
We have some shopping to do.
We're gonna go shopping.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Good.
So thank you. It was very kind of you. And for haul, I was pretty good this time.
I don't have anything for haul.
Well, the shop's been closed for a couple of days, so I couldn't go in. Oh, there's the mailman. Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, but I did, when I was checking in orders, this came from Primrose, and, I had to get it. I'll probably do it in these guys. I won't do it
Now
in
that
the
you say
pink.
that, I think you have showed it before.
Okay, well, sorry.
Maybe you've seen that.
She told me I hadn't showed
I
it before.
didn't think you had.
But my daughter-in-law saw it when she was here, and she said, "Oh, that's really pretty." So I thought, maybe I'll make her that for Christmas, because she does appreciate when I make her things.
Yeah.
And then
The sun is reflecting right off of that.
Our bee had our Christmas luncheon, our quilt bee, and we played left, center, right, which is a fun dice game. And if you haven't played it, it's fun to play with a group, and especially. Last time we played for quarters. This time we played for fat quarters. And I was so worried I'd win because there were 10 of us and we each had 6.
Oh, 6 fat quarters.
Yes.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot of fat quarters. So
wow.
It was okay. I didn't win, but Pam did. We have a new lady in our bee who doesn't have much of a stash. So it was so funny because they were laying on the table and people go, "Oh, look, now these go together and those go together. Here." So she wound up probably taking home 20 fat quarters. It was really nice. And then they decided I had to have this one. So, and I'll probably make a project bag out of it or something. But yeah, it is cute. So that's
and what's that? It is Snowman Stitches by Susan Wingate. I'll show that in case anybody wants to look for it. Yeah.
So.
Don't use for children's clothing, but I make a darn cute project bag.
Yep. Or a little tote bag or a little pillow or something like that. So
Nice.
So that's it. I really, I think I bought some floss, but floss is floss. And
all right. Well, let's talk about your quilt now.
Oh Lord.
I think we're pretty much done with stitching.
Yeah.
But we have some quilting and some knitting and crochet. So you want to talk about quilting first?
Yes, you can do your quilt first.
No, you do yours because it was big.
Okay. I've talked about it a lot, but
cagily.
I don't think she watches our Flosstube.
No,
but
I don't think
when we put this up, it will be after Christmas, and she will have received it. But a friend of mine had her best friend, and I won't go into a lot of detail because just in case she happens to see it before she sees it. But she asked me to make her a quilt, and I said sure. And I thought, okay, a twin, a throw, something like that. She wrote over 3 tubs of fabric, and said, "I'd like a king." And I said, okay. So I have taken a picture of it.
Let me get the pattern.
And it's...
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
We'll insert a picture of it here. It was a lot of... It's a big quilt. It's heavy. And it's quite large. Because it's a king. But this is the pattern. And I chose that one because the fabrics that I used, I wanted to focus on big pieces because I was able to fussy cut and I was able to use a lot of specific things. And you'll see that in the picture. And
so the quilt name is Blue Willow.
Yes.
This quilt is not a king size, so you made yours bigger.
Yes, I did.
And it's from McCall's America Quilts Hometown Favorites Spring 2010. And I think a lot of the McCalls and other quilt magazines, sometimes you can find them online and buy a specific pattern online. But the thing you didn't say is that each of the fabrics in the sections they were memory fabric for her.
Yes, that's why I chose the big blocks, so that she would be able to look at them and not little tiny pieces. She could see a bird or a fish or a tree or something like that.
Not t-shirts, but most of it was cotton.
No, it was no t-shirts. It was a different fabrics from where it came from.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was a lot of work. More than I anticipated, because I'd never made a king-size quilt. I probably will never make one again, just because moving that sucker, oh my Lord. You know, when I gave it to Pam to quilt, first I gave her the batting, then I gave her the backing, and then I gave her the quilt. When she gave it back to me, all that was together.
Yeah.
And, you know, individually it wasn't bad, but boy, it was heavy to begin with. So yeah, we did get a couple pictures, and we'll show those off. Yeah.
And your friend Pam quilted it.
Yes, my friend
Because
Pam
I said I don't have time to quilt it at the speed at which it needs to be quilted.
Yeah.
She did it in a couple of days for you.
Yeah, she did. It was great.
It was very nicely quilted. And then you bound and bound and bound and bound.
Yeah. I got up the other morning. I was like, okay, I want to get this done. And I woke up early because I needed to pee.
Way too early.
And I was laying in bed thinking, okay, now if I can sleep another hour or two. And then I thought, okay, you're not going back to sleep. So at 6:30 I got up and I came upstairs and I finished it at 10:30. I had the binding cut, but I had to stitch it together. Then I had to press it. Then I had to put it on. Then I had to turn it. And I sewed it down by machine. And it went well, but it was just, it's just huge.
A lot.
It's 114 by 114.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fabric to wrestle. And I'm so glad I have my second machine, because I kind of keep that place clear. If you saw the other side of the room, you'd understand why. But having the other machine, I had enough room to, you know, fight with that while I was doing it. And it was a bit of a challenge, but it was good. And when it was done, it really did look nice, and she really liked it. And I'm hoping her best friend loves it.
Yes.
I told her no dogs on the quilt.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And I also worked on a memory quilt. This is, again, I don't think she watches the channel, but Sarah, by chance, if you do, just stop right now, and then you can pick it up after Christmas. But my friend Sarah had brought home, I told her when her mom passed away to bring home some shirts from her parents' house when they went to clean out the house, and she brought home a bag, and they sat in her closet for several years, and then they sat in my basement for several years. And this year I was like, I have got to get this quilt made, and I did, and it's going to be her Christmas present. But you guys are going to see it first. So it's a series of 11 shirts, and it has just different shirts that are meaningful to them. This was one of her dad's shirts, and then in the bottom I took pockets from two of the shirts. One was a Hawaiian shirt. Well, actually these were from pants, so I left these unquilted, so you know, she can put a little memory in there. Put something in there, or like the TV remote or whatever. So I'll take a full picture of this and insert it as well. But the other thing I will show you is that for the quilt back, I had a big piece of blue fabric, which I thought went well with kind of there was a lot of blue and gray on the front. But these are the pant legs from those same pants I took the pocket from. So what I found in the bag when I opened it was a couple of sweatshirts, some t-shirts. Oh, I gotta show this part. This is a jacket that her mom had hand quilted. So this piece was a hand quilted jacket. Oh, yeah. And I made sure it was okay to cut it up, and she said it was. So I know it's so hard. So hard. But I cut that up, and so that piece is in here. And then there was a pair of pants. So the pants wound up getting it just wide enough. So this is a nice lap size quilt, and that's going to be her Christmas present. That's great. She's going to love it. She's going to love it. She's going to cry. Yeah, maybe. She's not a crier. I know, but sometimes. She might. Sometimes. We'll see. Bonus points if she cries, right? Oh. All right. Okay. And then we have some other yarn art. Yes. You guys know how much I love purple, so be prepared. If they follow me on Instagram, they've already seen a sneak preview of this. It's called an eyelet scarf, and it's from the
the book is right under that pile of stuff. I don't know if you can reach it.
Under this pile?
It's the blue one right there.
Okay.
I believe that's it.
60 quick knits.
Yes. So I started this last week. It needs to be 36 inches long. Right now it's 24. But I think it's a really pretty pattern. And that's the right side. Okay, so put that behind it. And you can see the pattern.
Well, I actually pull it out so that
there. So you can see the pattern. So it's really pretty. And I'm making this for my cleaning lady who loves purple and hates snow. So I figure if I give her purple, she'll come back if it's snowing on Monday.
And your granddaughter loves purple.
And my granddaughter loves purple
too. And she saw the picture on Instagram and was like, ooh. So you might get to make, there's 59 more in this book.
And I should have some purple left over.
You might be able to make one for her too.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Don't put it there. The sun is hitting right in my eye.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, and then I'm a little wary to show this again because we all know what happened last time. And if you don't, go back and watch the last video. So this is the hexagon pillow, and I got the second section, or the second piece done. And so this is what it looks like. Would you like to model them?
No, I'll be
okay. It needs some blocking, but I now have
Show them a side view of it. That's what.
I now have 2 parts. Yep. 2 parts that'll be blocked and sewn together to make a pillow. Okay. So they're done.
I'm being good. I'm being good.
That's kind of what it looks like.
It's not a hat.
It's not a hat. No.
It's really pretty though that it's finished. I love the yarn. The colors are pretty.
Yeah, the yarn is very pretty. And I'm pretty happy. Somebody said that looks like a complicated pattern. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple of stitches I didn't know before I started this pattern, but thank goodness for YouTube, because you can look for any crochet stitch.
Anything,
probably, and see a video of how it's done. And I've even found, because I'm a lefty, a lot of times I can search for left-handed front post double crochet 2 together and actually see a lefty do it, because I find it hard to follow right-handed crocheters.
When I was teaching to do French knots, she would sit across from me. And my best friend needed French knots on her cross-stitch pieces. She'd say, here. I did them for her.
All right. I think that's everything we have to share. What are your plans over the next few weeks?
Well, we have joined this group called SYS 2023, which is Stitch Your Stash. And I haven't read the whole thing yet because I've been busy with that bloody quilt. But
it's pretty self-explanatory.
I think you pick out like 12 patterns that you want to.
You do it however you want to do it. The whole goal is you just stitch from your stash.
Yeah. And I have a little bit of stash to stitch from. I still have a whole pile of stuff that I was going to do last year when I had my hip, which was a year ago, and a lot of it's still sitting there looking at me. Yeah. So I have plenty to pick. And
well, and I think we talked about, I don't know if you agreed, but we talked about, and I think it sounds fun, so I think we'll probably do it, trying to kit up some of your projects. So, because you said with that spooky row, when the stuff is together and you can just grab it and go, that's easy. So what we may do is look through your patterns and see what can we kit up and get stuff ready so that when you want to stitch it, you're ready.
And I have 1,000 Mill Hill kits. I can work on them.
Yes.
I have all kinds of
Maybe
fun
you
stuff.
should do Mill Hill Mondays.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah. Mill Hill Madness on Monday, right?
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah,
I could work on Mill Hills on Monday.
On Monday or something like
52 weeks, maybe I could get 1 or 2 finished.
No, you'd get more done than that.
I think so, because sometimes you cheat. Once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, it's not Monday, it's Wednesday, but I'm so close, I want to get it done.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, I'm going to go through my stash too and see kind of, my big thing I think is matching up fabrics. I don't have a huge stash of fabric, of linens, linens or Aida or anything. So I want to kind of go through and see what I have that goes with my patterns, and then kind of go from there to start an intentional list to buy the linens that I want. But
we may go on a fabric search one day.
Yeah.
I know one thing. Let me go back to the quilting, knitting, crocheting, the embroidery, because since Thanksgiving, I've shown you the little key rings I made with the initials on them. I made them for Jen. I made them for Jenna. I've made 33 of those since Thanksgiving. I gave them to my bee,
Do
my
we have
stitch
a
group.
picture of that?
I have a picture. We have a picture to insert. Not all 33, but a representative sample. But yeah, I've made a lot. And then I also stitched some towels for Christmas presents. And there's a picture of those too. That was a pattern I got from, I think, maybe Embroidery Library, I believe. And so I got the towels from Amazon, and I stitched those. And, you know, they're not around right now, so I can't show them to you, but the picture will be inserted.
Okay.
And yeah, so I did do that stuff too.
Yeah.
And plus, my friend Pam was doing towels for a friend of hers, but her machine wasn't big enough for the two of the names.
Yeah.
For the size letters she wanted. So she came over here and we did those here too.
Yeah.
One went perfectly. The second one, we got partway through the L and I don't know what happened. It went nuts and broke the needle. So we fixed it all and we got it all back together and we started again and it broke the needle again.
Same spot.
Same spot.
Yeah,
Same
it's
spot.
crazy.
We don't know why. And I couldn't figure it out. So we just kind of said, knock it off.
Yeah.
And then
the best strategy is let it rest for a while.
I turned it off, you know, we went away.
Yeah.
And then she gave me a small hand towel and I stitched that out and it was fine.
Yeah.
So she came back with the big towel and they were huge bath towels. I mean, they had to be 6 feet long. I mean, they were huge. And so we got those done too. So
Good.
I have been doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But just...
Well, and the quilt took a lot.
It did.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time. And because the sashing, you'll see the sashing in there. I had to make yards and yards and yards of sashing.
But you also said, I don't know if you said this on our last Flosstube, but you're thinking next year may be more of a knitting and stitching year and less of a quilting year.
Yes, because I sat down in my chair now that Cole is no longer with us and I'm allowed to sit in it again. And I have quite a bit of yarn next to it. And I started looking through it and I was like, ooh, I like that. Oh, and then of course there's the sweater that she challenged me to start earlier this year. That is, you know, probably 2/3 done, and so I'd like to get back to that. Yeah. And I have nothing pressing for quilting now. Right. I don't have any deadlines. The wall
is empty.
I just need to get my wind drifter quilted, but that's and bound. That won't be hard at all.
Easy. Yeah.
And maybe I'll work on some small. I need to make some. Oh, and also I made 4 project bags. I had an order for them, and we have a picture of those to insert too. Okay. And so I have been doing stuff, even though I think I haven't. But I am working on stuff. Yeah. So I'm getting
good.
Yeah. And then my other project is hopefully we are going to straighten up this room.
You know I enjoy a good straighten up.
I know.
That's what she's afraid of.
We've talked about doing a live, and if we did, we might do a kind of a little look around.
Maybe.
And if we do that,
the room's
it ain't going to happen until this room is picked up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But,
all right.
So anyway.
My plans, I have one more quilt that's quilted. I made the binding yesterday. I would like to get that on to have one more quilt project finished for the year. I would like to get the 2 whips I showed finished. I want the winter bell pull finished for the end of the year. The other one, if it's finished, great. If it's not, that'll go into January. And then I want to get some plans together for what I want to stitch next year. And again, from a quilting perspective, I don't have a lot of burning projects. I have about a dozen quilts that are somewhere in progress. None that have deadlines or specific. That memory one was the real one I needed to get done, just like you. So,
I have a few. I have the buck a block or $2 a block that I did from not this year, but last year, and it's all done. It just needs one last border on it and then to be quilted. So I need to get that done and get it off wherever it is. It's around here somewhere. And then I have a couple more friends I would like to send quilts to. I've done that the last few years. I've made quilts and sent them to longtime friends, just kind of as a hi, how are you? Enjoy this quilt. Yeah. And so I have 2 that I definitely want to send to. Yeah. And one of them, I have a couple
that
finished.
Quilt is kind of earmarked for one of those, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get that one going.
Yep.
Maybe that can be the one we use to film me quilting.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. Good. Alrighty. Well, for all of you, our question today, we're going to sneak in a question, and it's about stitching during this time of year. Do you have a specific Christmas start, New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day start that you're planning to do? I know a lot of people are planning to join in on the 12 by 12 and do either 12 whips or 12 new starts or a combination of those.
Explain when.
New Year's Eve
Whoa.
from noon to midnight each hour. You work on a different project. Wow. They could be whips or they could be new starts. Yeah. Traditionally, I think it's been new starts, but this year a lot of people are team whips. So, so I'll be watching along with that. I won't be doing 12 new projects.
No.
I don't have 12 whips. So, in addition to what I showed you today, I only have 2 other whips. So.
Aren't you wonderful?
Yeah, I've been whittling them down this back half of the year, but I'll have to start whittling them up because by the time we get to May, I need a few whips for Stitch Mania. So,
okay.
So I have next week off. We'll be hanging out, doing some fun stuff together, hanging out with the kids, and just getting some nice crafty time in. And we hope you all do too. Wish you a very Merry Christmas, very Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We won't see you till next year.
Yes.
We'll miss you.
Yeah.
We hope you have a healthy and happy time with your family or friends or however you celebrate. And we really enjoy visiting with you, and we love your comments, and we feel like we've gotten to know so many of you since we've started this. It's been beyond our expectations.
Yeah. We've
really, really enjoyed it, and thank you for watching, and thank you for your support. So
thanks.
That's
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.